No, it smells bad when you do that. Can't count that high. Page one. I don't know if we ever sing this in church. I know we have, but I don't know if we have recently. Page one. Here we go. It's all staying the same. Once you find it, Charlie, do you know this one? Book at it. Here we go. All hail the power of Jesus' name. Let angels prostrate fall. Bring forth the royal diadem and crown him Lord of all. Bring forth the royal diadem and crown him Lord of all. Ye's chosen seed of Israel's race, ye ransomed from the fall. Hail him who saves you by his grace, and crown him Lord of all. Hail him who saves you by his grace, and crown him Lord of all. Let every kindred, every tribe on this terrestrial wall to him all majesty ascribe, and crown him Lord of all. To him all majesty ascribe, and crown him Lord of all. Oh, that with yonder sacred throng we at his feet may fall. We'll join the everlasting song, and crown him Lord of all. We'll join the everlasting song, and crown him Lord of all. Thank you. Have a seat. Has anybody else heard that song? Have y'all heard that song before? Does anybody know that song? Nobody knows that song? Okay, it's just singing praises to God, and it's kind of my heart of hearts is want to do all the time. Alrighty, and you think about it, that every kindred, every tongue on this terrestrial ball, to him all majesty ascribe and crown and Lord of all. That means everybody in the world would sing his praises to change the world, wouldn't it? If they want to praise God, get their heart right with God and praise him, they change everything in life. All right. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Is there any prayer requests? Okay. Okay. Pray for Bruce and Patty. They both have a lot of tests this week, treatments this week, and uh, there's a list. Uh, if I get this right, this is all on Bruce's side. He's going to have 5 days of radiation. He's going to have 4 different treatments for 21 days between each treatment with the different therapies. The radiation starts Tuesday, and Patty has a PET scan. That's what the other thing was. Bruce has one thing, and Patty has a PET scan, and it's all on. I think it's on Monday. Anyway. So keep them in your prayers with all that they're going through. But they're really when you talk to them, their spirits are good. You know, they know it. I mean, once you're saved, you know you're going to heaven when you die. Then that takes away the fear of death. But you hate going through the treatments and the sickness and all that goes along with it. Right? All right. Anybody else? What's that? Sister-in-law. Okay. Church caught on fire. No, I hadn't heard about that. Okay. Okay. Pray for the church family. They get the church back. Anybody else? All right, let's go a little prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to be in your house, Lord. I pray you bless in all that we say and do. We want to bring honor and glory to you. And we're thankful that you work in our hearts and our lives, and you allow grace. We can grow in Christ and know you better. I pray you bless our church family, and blessing the requests for those within the family, and for Gary and Annette, and the health conditions that they're going through as well. And I pray you'll use us for your glory. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. All right, anybody got a testimony before we go any farther? We're going right into this. Okay? Turn to 2 Kings chapter 13. 2 Kings 13. Second Kings chapter 13. We're still reading about different kings and the process that they go through and how God used them and what they did. Can you hear me? Is this loud enough? My ears got to pop or else I can't hear myself. Okay. All right. 2 Kings chapter 13. Look down verse 14. We'll read verse 14 through 19. Now Elisha, that's the preacher. He's the man of God, the prophet. Now Elisha had fallen sick, and the sickness whereof he died. And Joash, the king of Israel, came down to him and wept over his face and said, "Oh, my father, my father, the chariot of Israel and the horsemen thereof." And Elisha said unto him, "Take bow and arrows." And he took unto him his bow and arrows. And he said unto the king of Israel, "Put thine hand upon the bow." And he put his hand upon it. And Elisha put his hands upon the king's hands. And he said, "Open the window eastward." And he opened it. And Elisha said, "Shoot." And he shot. And he said, "The arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and the arrow of the deliverance from Syria. For thou shalt smite the Syrians of Aphek till thou hast consumed them." And he said, "Take the arrows." And he took them, and he said unto the king of Israel, "Smite upon the ground." And he smote thrice and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him and said, "Thou shouldst have smitten 5 or 6 times, then hast thou smitten Syria till thou hast consumed them, whereas now thou shalt smite Syria but thrice." Stop reading right there. Thank you, Lord, for your word. Great your blessing and the reading and teaching of your word. Okay, here's the story. Joash is not a good king. He's a king of northern kingdom of Israel. He's not as bad as some of the kings before him, like Ahab, but he is not a real godly man. But he is the king of Israel. And the Syrians have invaded their land, keep invading their land. They come from the east of northern Israel, is where Syria is at. So as the Syrians keep invading, Joash hears that Elisha, the preacher, is sick, so he goes down to see him. And Elisha's not going to recover from this. Elisha's going to die from this sickness. So Joash goes in to see him, and he's weeping at this point because he's learned this humility, which some of us have learned at times in our life. He's weeping before Elisha, saying, "Oh, my father, the horseman of Israel, chariot of Israel." He said, it kind of bothers him, even though he has not been faithful, though Joash has not been faithful to God, not really followed Elisha as he should have. The preacher, listen to what the preacher said. But when the preacher's dying, he's really bothering him. And so he goes down to see him, and the preacher says, "Open the window towards the east." He opens the windows, says, "Take your bow and arrow," and he takes the bow, and Elisha sits up to hold his hands on the king's hands as he shoots the bow, and he shoots the arrow out the window, and he said, "The arrow of the Lord's deliverance. God's going to give you victory over the east, over the Syrians as you come." He said, "Now take your arrows and smite on the ground." So I guess he's shooting maybe shooting either in the house or on the ground outside, out the window. And he shoots 3 times and stops. And Elisha said, "You shouldn't have stopped. You should have shot. You had more arrows. You should have shot 5 or 6 times. But because you only shot," and Joash didn't know what Elisha was telling him to do, right? That he didn't know. I don't think he knew by what we read here that he would smite the Syrians as many times as many arrows as he shot. If you read through the rest of the chapter, don't do it right now because you have to go like this. I think you're falling asleep during my teaching. But he thinks so. Joash probably didn't know or understand that Elisha was saying, "Shoot all your arrows because you only shot 3 times, then you will defeat the Syrians for the next 3 years, next 3 battles. Every year they win the battle with them. You will defeat the Syrians for 3 years, and you'll run them out for 3 years, but after that they'll come back." Okay? If you shot 5 or 6 times, you would have completely annihilated the Syrians, and they wouldn't be around the rest of your life. You wouldn't have to worry about them. Okay. Here's the lesson from this. And to me, this is a big part of the lesson. It's something that I didn't learn as a kid. But we'll get this. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10 says this: "Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might." It means do your very best in all that you do. There's people in life, and I've learned this as an adult, but I don't think I learned this as a kid. I think it would have changed who I was if I'd have been taught this, or if I'd learned this as a kid to do whatever you're supposed to be doing, whatever is the right thing to do. If you do your very best at it all the time, and there's no questions of it, then whatsoever the hand finds to do, do with that might. The results are completely different if you give yourself wholly to doing something. There's some people who go through life with minimal efforts, and this is scriptural. You go through the words, look up the word sluggard or slothful in the book of Proverbs. You'll find it everywhere. Okay, people that are lazy They make all kinds of excuses as to why they're lazy, and they never do anything. Some people say lazy. I can't even lift my hand up to feed myself anymore. And I've known people that are like it. It's not sickness. And if someone's sick, that's not the same story as someone's just being lazy about life. Minimal efforts at work. Curtis Hudson, preacher from years ago, said there's a lot of people they go to on the job site. They're looking for payday and sundown. They can't wait till the job is over. I mean, when they punch the clock at 8 o'clock, they just can't wait till 5 o'clock when they punch out. They're not planning on doing anything while they're there. They'll do whatever the least amount of work that they can do while they're there. Okay, anybody work like that? Anybody in here, you're that way? Okay, one. Now that you're retired, you got all kinds of energy. You're building stuff all the time, right? Okay, but on your job, you did your job, right? Not the least that you could do, but you did everything you were supposed to do, right? Some people then spend their entire life looking for whatever's the easiest way to get out of something. Well, the easiest way to get a task done or to call it complete, whether it's done or not. They do that at work. I know people that do that at home. That means they think it's easy not to cut the grass but once a month. Okay, now that means you really got to push the mower harder to get the grass to cut instead of cutting it every week. Well, not this time of year, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, it doesn't matter whatever minimal effort you put forth. I'm sure, Charlie, there's teachers at your school that do the very least that they could do to get by, right? Just like you have students that are that way. They have that, whatever I have to do. Okay, my best friend when I was a kid, he lived next door to me. We were good friends the whole time we were growing up. And he was in my wedding, when Tam and I got married. For about 5 years in a row, he had to go to summer school. I mean, just so he could pass to go to the next grade, he had to go to summer school. And after like the third year of it, I'm like, man, why don't you just pass the first time so that we could spend more time fishing and playing ball and stuff during the summertime, and you won't have to go to school every day. I got to deliver newspapers 5 o'clock every morning, but man, I got home at 6:30. He's leaving to go to school, and it's June, July, and August. Not like now where it's like a year-round school, but it was for him because he wouldn't pass during the year and had to go to school all summer. And I think, why are you doing that? Why don't you do it right the first time? Okay, he actually turned out to be a great man. A good adult. He learned that like all through high school. He didn't have to go back to summer school because he learned to do his work the first time. Okay. Minimal efforts. Minimal efforts also. Okay. When we talk about sin and the temptation, the solicitation of evil and temptation to do something that's bad, some people want to get as close to sin as they can without falling off the edge. Right? You're like that. Okay. I want to see how close to sin I can go without destroying my life. And not me. I want to back away from it. Every man is tempted when he's drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Every one of us has lust within us that we're born with. It's a part of our sinful nature that wants to do something that's bad or do things that are bad. But if we get close to the edge, we're liable to fall off. Like boundaries. If this is a straight and narrow path, if we set our boundaries here and we slip from the boundaries, we'll go this far. If we set our boundaries way out here, what is right and wrong, then when we mess up, life is destroyed. Okay, for a lot of people, they never recover. They never get back. Okay, all right. Tiptoeing around sin. Some people have no boundaries whatsoever. Okay, we know those people. I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be that way. They want to put a minimal effort into keeping out of trouble. I want to put big effort into keeping out of trouble, so I won't get in trouble. It's the opposite of minimal effort. It's people that are sold out. You may know somebody at work that just works like they're a workaholic. You know people that are like that? Okay? I know a lot of people that are like that. And in the businesses that I've been in, that I've worked in, and it doesn't matter. I know guys that are in the bank. I know a lot of people in the banking industry. But I also know a guy that builds houses. He owns a log home company, okay? He's there early, he stays late, he works like his life depends on it, okay? The opposite of the minimal effort guy is the workaholic guy that just can't get everything done because he has more than he wants to get done, right? That even at 5 o'clock you want to stay, something else I want to get done, or if starting time was 8 o'clock. When I first started working at Lee Graphics, I had to be there at 8 o'clock, and so I'd get there about 10 till. Okay, and the longer I was there, the more responsibilities my boss gave me, and so I started getting there at 7:30. And so, because there's more stuff to do. And then eventually, when I started going into sales, and he wanted me to go with him. The first time we went to see one of his customers up in Parkersburg, he said he was I was 30 years old. My boss was about 45 at the time, and we met this customer that I talked on the phone with several times. He said, "John's going to do real well." And Steve, the customer, said, "How you know?" He said, "Because I got to office this morning at 7:30. The coffee was already done. He's ready to go." Why? Because there's something inside of me that motivates me to do more than was required of me. Okay. Curtis Hudson said, "Some people looking for payday and sundown." Another person said, "Anybody have a needle?" And someone knew had a needle. And someone said, "I got an iron rod." He said, "Give me a file. I'll file on it till I get it down to the needle. Okay, I'll work on it till I get it done." Some people are sold out and doing the very best at work or at home, whether you're honoring your mother and father or you're raising your own children. You want to do your very best, not just minimal effort of what you're doing. Something inside of me says, when we were raising Rebecca, I wanted to do my very best all the time because she's watching what I'm doing. But I wanted her to have the very best life that she could come up with, that God had planned for her. I don't want to miss out on anything. Just like it's abstaining from evil, the Bible says abstain from the appearance of evil. I want to stay away from it as far as I could. And so, whether it's child rearing or work or church or whatever it is, I want to do my very best all the time. Sometimes that gets me in trouble because I expect more of myself than I can get done. Anybody else do that? You think I can get this done? And you think I want to get more done than I'm getting done now. So I push myself to get up early. Okay, that's something that wakes me up. Everybody wake up like you don't have to get up as early, but 3:30 in the morning you're wide awake thinking about stuff. Does anybody do that? I'm the only one who does that. You wait. You don't have to get up, but you're wide awake thinking, I got to get all this done. There's more to do. Okay, is there anything wrong with that? No, because there's something that motivates you to do it. Alan was at my house. It was a Saturday before last. We're going to do something that morning. It was switch something out, switch one of the vehicles out or something like that, one of the church vans. And we're going to do something that morning. I said, call me about 8 o'clock. 7:15, he's at my house. Okay. And he called, and I was downstairs in the living room. The phones are upstairs, and he called on my cell phone. And Tammy was not wide awake yet at 7:15 because it's Saturday. She was sleeping in, and sleeping until 7. So she answered the phone, and she said, "I don't know where he's at." I could hear her voice. I didn't know who she was talking to. She said, "Maybe he's at the barn." Alan said, "No, he's not at the barn because the light's not on. He's already at my house." Okay, so I was downstairs reading. Okay, anyway, why is he like it? He wants to get stuff done, right? All right. But the person that sold out also to fight against your own sin, your own temptation. Scripture says, let your boundaries be made known. That means you live by a higher standard. That means if you can get through life living on this plane right here, you'll have a great life living on this plane up here. If you can get through life without destroying your life by living this way, that's fine. But if you set your boundaries on higher, I'm pressing on the upward way, new heights I'm gaining every day. If you set your sights on a higher, I think about Charlie and the kids at school. Charlie's there kids at school that get 70s, could make 90s, right? Yeah. Is there kids at school that make 90s that could make 100? Is there a kid in your class that probably should be making 70s, works real hard to get 90s? Yep. And there's those people. You know what's funny? The person that could make 100 on every test and gets 70s, they're going to have a minimal life going through life. The kid that you think your very best is going to get them a 70, and they study and work real hard, get a 90 on everything because it was great at school. Just because they push themselves, they do more. Someone's going to be working for that kid someday. That's the person that excels in life. Okay. You may remember that name, Avon Coburn. You may remember that name. He's running back for WVU, right? Right, Charlie? Okay, he's in West Virginia Football Hall of Fame. He's the only running back to rush for over 1,000 yards all 4 years that he's in school. And he's really good. He called me one day, or he texted me, and he called me, wanted to meet me uptown for something. So I met him, and I'd seen pictures of him. And I thought, okay, he's a college football player. And then he was an NFL football player. So I'm thinking it's a big guy, right? My thought, right? He's 5'4", okay, or something like that. He's not very big. He's a thin guy, okay? What made him rush for 1,000 yards every time he got the ball? Okay, what made him he's a Christian guy. We thought we had to witness each other, talk for a while. What made him push himself to excel? Was it just natural talent? No, because natural talent ends the first time some 300-pound guy plows over you, and you feel like you're hit by a truck. And that natural talent says, no, I don't think I want to do that again. That's right. It must have been really fast. But the truth is, something inside of him motivated him that he had to do more all the time. Okay, he's doing real well in life. Okay, and as a Christian, he's doing well. Something inside of me says, no minimal efforts on anything. I want to do my very best. Okay. Okay. I'd rather do something. We've had this conversation at work today, not today, but in the past, where I've called in and asked somebody to do something and they didn't know how to do it. I said, if you'll call me back, I can walk you through it. You know you can do it. Matter of fact, I'd rather you do something and do it wrong than not do anything at all. Right? Is that right? Kathy, someone's filling out the insurance papers, you'd rather than try to do it, even if they can't get it right, then you'd rather try to do it, and I'll correct it later, or I can call back in tomorrow and fix it. But I just need you to do what I ask you to do. Okay. So I'd rather do something and keep pushing than never try. There are people in life that are critics or scoffers that criticize or scrutinize every effort that other people make. And you know what those critics do? Nothing. Right? The critics and the scoffer people, they never do anything. All they do is complain. Anybody know somebody like that? Never does anything. Anybody work with somebody like that? All they do is complain. Why don't you do your job? Okay? Most often they can find. There's a guy we went to church with, and I asked him what his job was. He told me that he was a quality. I can't remember what it was, quality inspector or something in his title meant that he went to jobs and told people how to do their job better. Okay, I can't remember what the title was. And I asked him. I said, "Have you ever done that job?" He said, "No." So how can you tell something? How can you go to the job and, some work the produce department at a grocery store, I can tell them how to do that. I've done that. If someone's setting tombstones, I can tell somebody how to do that. I used to set tombstones, right? If someone's working in a steel shop, I can run a press brake. I can't weld. I tried that, but they told me not to do. Run the press brake or shear, doing different things with metal. I can do that. I can bend metal. That's good. Someone can sell printing, I could do that, right? Someone teach school, I can do that. I can tell somebody I can't tell somebody how to do something I can't do. Or I can't tell somebody, some people just always want to tell other people. Okay. Forget about what the scoffers say, the critics say. If you put the scriptures in your heart and in your mind, says, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me, then no matter what job is set before you, you want to do your best at it, because you say, I can do this, right? I can do this. That's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? If I know I'm supposed to do it, that I can do this. Here's the last part. Look at chapter 13, verse 19. This is the last verse we're going to read. To me, this is big. Okay? We'll read verse 18 and 19 together. And he said, that's Elijah. Elisha said, take the arrows, and he took them, and he said to him, to the king of Israel, smite upon the ground, and he smote thrice and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him and said, thou shouldst have smitten 5 or 6 times. Okay, stop reading right there. How do you think Elisha had the right to tell Joash what to do? He said, thou should have smitten 5 or 6 times. How do you think Elisha had the right to say that? Anybody? Charlie? Anybody think Elisha had the right to tell Joash what to do? I think he did. Okay, and he was the preacher. He was the preacher his entire life. Okay, he was the man in the prophet in all of their nation that everyone would go to. He's the one that Joash went to. He's the one that Joash's father went to, grandfather. He's the one that sent the message to Joash's grandfather that made his grandfather the king. Okay? Elisha earned the right to say you should or you shouldn't. Okay? So, if that's true, let me ask you a question then, because this doesn't have, let's see, say it the right way. This comes back to us personally. Have you earned the right to tell other people what you should do, what they should do, and what they shouldn't do? Have you earned that right? Anybody answer that question? How many think Charlie Moss has earned the right to tell the kids in school what to do? Right? Right. Had Elisha earned the right? Elisha earned the right. I firmly believe this. That's why when Joash, the king, learned that Elisha was dying, he went and fell on his face in Elisha's place and was crying. Right? I mean, it's just this is all. Well, it was awful because the preacher died. Right? He'd earned that right. Now, in certain areas of your life, you can tell other people what to do. Right? Charlie's a teacher. Marlon for the dairy. Borden, whichever. Which one was it? United. What was it before that? Something else. What Borden or something? Okay. So Martin worked there forever. He can tell everybody what to do, right? So I think you tell people about the insurance, what you should do or what you shouldn't do. In every area of our life, we've got to figure out if we're the Elisha, because there's people who will come and ask us what to do. Okay. You think, well, not me. No one's going to come ask me. Somewhere along the line, I'm going to pick on Kyle and Jessica because they're the youngest ones in the room. Somewhere along the line, you're either going to earn the right for other people to come to you and ask you what to do, or you're going to be the opposite of Elisha. You want to tell everybody what to do, and you have no idea what you're talking about. Now, anybody that person that you always want to tell everybody what to do, you have no idea what you're talking about? Okay. It's kind of like politicians going on, what's going on, some stuff going on in politics today. You decide, okay, I'm not going to be the Elisha that they want to ask, that people actually want to come to me with the answer. Or the person that puts forth a minimal effort and doesn't do their best never becomes the Elisha. Never becomes, in anybody's life, the person that everyone else says, or anybody comes to and says, help me with this, show me what to do. Okay? Does that make sense? You can become the Elisha to somebody else. You can become. Elisha wasn't looking to become the hero for anybody. He just did everything he was supposed to do, and God used him. He followed Elijah, and he saw Elijah, and he said, "I want twice as much the power that the Spirit's on Elijah. I want twice as much what he has." And Elisha got that, but every one of us has to make that decision. Okay, do I want to become that person that other people come to and say, "I need help"? Okay. You can. Everybody in this room, you can. But being the minimal effort person, you never become that. Being the overachiever person, you become that. All right? Any questions? There's a kid that I knew real well. Matter of fact, I've known him all my life because I'm related to him. That was always doing more, always as a kid, he always yes sir, no sir to his mom and dad, always real respectful, always did everything he was supposed to be doing. He always was the overachiever, okay? He just did more than he had to do. He ran in high school, he wrestled, ran cross country, did stuff. He just because he wanted to. I mean, he worked real hard in school and whatever. Marlon, when he joined the Marines at 18 years old, when he joined the Marines, he got in trouble, not for mouthing off to anybody, but because he already was physically, like, when he went to boot camp, he was already going into boot camp the way most kids are when they're getting out of boot camp. You know what I'm saying? And stories came back about, like, the instructor teaching him how to use a puga stick. Well, he took the puga stick away from the teacher and showed everyone else how to use it. Not because he was smart aleck about it, but just natural things just came to him, and I was overachiever in everything that he did. Okay? Go forward almost 40 years. Yeah, go forward 40 years. And look, I can look back at this person's life, and I should use him as an illustration. He was an overachiever in everything. But it started when he was a kid. He was an overachiever. We had an aunt that lived over on the west side where it was right down the street from the A&W root beer place. Everybody remember that, okay? She lived over there. It's his grandmother, our aunt. We lived over in Canal City by the hospital, just a couple blocks between the hospital and Morse Harbor. And so we were over at over my aunt's house, and we're getting ready to leave to go over to our house. And he said, "I'll be there in a few minutes." You don't have a car. He said, "I'm running." Oh, and that to me, I was 16 at that time, and he was 2 years older than me. And I think, why would he want to run from? I wanted to walk up the street 2 blocks to the A&W root beer, get a root beer. I want to get a hot dog and a root beer. That's what my plans were. And why would he want to run from the west side all the way over to Canal City just because? Okay, I don't know who's pushing himself. When I was, Tim and I were in college, and I was running a lot, right out of college, and I was still running a lot because I got to the point where I like to run. I met with him. We were in a certain city for a wedding, and I said, and he was going running. I said, "I'll run with you," because at that time I could run about 3 miles pretty good. Okay, that was a long time, 30 years and 40 pounds ago. Okay, so I can't run. I can't run to that door now. Anyway, I said, "I'll run with you," because I hadn't seen one, so we took off running. He held back his pace with me while we ran for about 2 miles and went to a certain place. And he said, we got to a certain corner intersection, and he said, "When we get this intersection, won't you take a right, and you'll go all back to the house, and you'll know where you're at," because we weren't in Charleston, it's in North Carolina. He said, "You take a right, and you go back to the house. It's about a mile down the road." So I kept up with him for not as fast as he wanted to run, but I kept up with him for about 2 miles, and he went the opposite direction. And it probably took me about 10 minutes to make that mile to go back to the house. But 10 minutes by the time I got back to the house, 10 minutes later, he showed up. He'd run 7 miles. There was something inside of him that just he just had to do that. An hour later, his brother showed up. His brother was families outing and families all together. And his brother said, "Let's go running." And he ran another 8 miles with his brother just so they could have their time together to talk, because they ran at a pace faster than my pace where they could just run alongside each other and talk. Okay, like, what pushed him to do that? Something made him want to be an overachiever. Looking through 40 years of his history now, he was an overachiever in everything he did. Okay, every one of us could be the person that you don't have to. I'm not saying run in or start some. If I start running now, I can't. My ankles hurt, my knees hurt, whatever. But be the overachiever in whatever your area is that you do your very best that you can do. Doesn't mean, because you're not in competition with anybody else. You're in competition with yourself to do the very best that you can, even if you can't do what someone else can do. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions? Going once, going twice? That's right. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. Thank you, truth you've given us in your word. I pray that you help us be the Christians we ought to be, to set the example for others, that we'll do our very best, whether it's work, or service at the church, or how we raise our family, or how we influence other people. Help us to be the Elishas in life that earn the right to say, "You can do this," or "You should do this." Help us to earn that right, earn the respect of others. Forgive us where we come short. Pray for those that are lost He's with us tonight. They're lost in class here, or upstairs in the classrooms, and back in the classrooms that lost people get saved. Help us be the witness for Christ we ought to be. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. You're dismissed. Thank you very much. Sound like you got the bowling alley open again upstairs.